Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, only on SABC3. It is a Wednesday morning. It's the middle of the week, but it's no ordinary Wednesday. For the coastal schools, it's back to school today. And I know a lot of youngsters, are looking forward to the start of 2015. We had it last week with the inland schools. Yeah.
Exactly. So we just want to wish you guys all the best for going back to school. If it's your first day of school as well, if you're a grade 1 student, all the best. Have the best time. And definitely make sure that the next 12 years are the best, most productive years of your life. But let's just deal with this year first. Yeah. Now, something that's quite important that we're going to be looking at, Nikki Bush is talking about why it's so important for us to have goals at school already. So whether you're a young person, whether the goal is in the classroom or on the sports field or on the stage, it's very important to have goals.
All right, well, let's hear from our parenting expert, Nikki Bush, this morning.
It's quite customary for us adults to make our own goals at this time of year in the form of New Year's resolutions. But did you know that a family can really benefit by getting the children to do the same and make their own goals? And Nikki Bush has tips on exactly how to get that going. Nikki, how is it that children can make goals for themselves and how can we encourage them to do it?
Tenji, I think it's really important that we encourage children to dream and to think big. They also need to have those dreams tempered with a little bit of reality, but it starts with a conversation. And maybe a good place to start is looking back at the year gone past and start talking about maybe what are the 5 things that you learned last year about yourself, about life.
Absolutely. So it's quite easy for parents to have this conversation, but how do the kids keep remembering that they have this goal throughout the year?
Well, I've got something here called a conversation jar, and you can take a glass jar, or I found an old plastic jar at home, and some colored pieces of paper and a big fat Cokie pen. Everybody can be given a different color of paper, so you could have orange and I could have red and little brother can have blue, and I'd say you can do this for children from about the age of 6 onwards, and then everybody gets an opportunity to write down 5 goals for the year. As you write them, you put them in the jar, and then at the end of the year we come back to the jar and we pull them all out, and I get all the orange ones or the blue ones or whichever ones were mine, and we get to check which goals we actually achieved. So I've put in a few here. Going fishing with Dad. There's 2 things here. Maybe it's learning how to fish, but maybe it's that togetherness opportunity to have with Dad. Maybe Dad's really busy, but your wish is to go fishing with Dad. Now, if Dad knows that's your wish, guess who's going to make sure that that goal is achieved? This one says, how about getting my brown belt in karate? If you've got a cricketer in the family, he might want to be improving his batting average. So it's helping children to cast their vision forward and then take the baby steps in order to meet that vision.
And children a lot of the time like to compare themselves to their friends. So how is it that parents can make sure that their children aren't competing or really just parroting their friends and making their own personal goals?
Well, of course, there will be some goals that are the same for everyone, but they also need to understand that they're individuals. And I learnt a very important lesson from my child's swimming teacher years ago, and he was teaching the children how to pace themselves across a length. And he said, don't look at the child next to you because your pace might be very different. And if you follow another child's pace, you might not reach your goal. And it was such a good lesson to learn that we all have our own pace, we all have our own goals, we have our own individual way of going about things.
Absolutely. And finally, how important is it for the adults in the family to pursue their own goals to set an example for their children?
Well, in this jar, I actually do have a couple for the adults too, like get a new job or buy a new car. And it's really important for children to see their parents inching towards those successes. And I think the whole purpose with goal setting is that it's about symbolizing growth and progress. And we need to role model that for our children. And if our children have purpose, and goals help you to have purpose, you've got a reason to get up in the morning. So I guess the question for parents is, what gets you up in the morning?
Setting meaningful goals builds better mental focus, decision-making and time management skills. It also fosters greater emotional intelligence and a healthy sense of self-confidence.